Okay. Labas visiems, mano vardas yra Brigita ir šiandien aš kalbinsiu labai įdomų, ypatingą svečią Zbyszek Miłuński. Šiais metais Zbyszek pirmą kartą dalyvaus Masters of Com festivalyje ir šio pokalbio metu užduosiu kelius klausimus, kurie padės mums labiau pažinti meistrą ir sužinoti, tai kągi jis yra paruošęs mūsų festivaliui. Hello, Zbyszek. Short
Labas.
introduction in Lithuanian. Labas. So I told everyone that this year will be your first time at Masters of Com Festival. Is that right?
That's true.
Great. I'm very excited to meet you in person. Can you maybe tell us what excites you about participating at the festival this year?
I'm not sure if I'm excited. I'm asked for the second time, and it is the reason why I agreed.
Okay, so you've been asked.
Yeah, you asked me last year. Maybe you don't know
Okay.
about that, yeah. But
Yeah.
I decided not to go. But when it is twice, I decided to come.
Like it's a sign. We really want you here.
Yeah, it's that way, yeah. When I got one invitation,
Yeah.
usually I say no at the very beginning, but if there is another one, it's possible I say yes.
Okay, good to know. I'll have that in mind. Okay, so I'm really glad that you agreed. Can't wait to meet you. So can you tell us what you
Yeah,
have?
there is a point of excitement, I could say. Maybe it's not excitement,
Yeah.
but the point is why I accepted this
Okay.
invitation is that I've been coming to Lithuania for several years now and work with people with groups and individually,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very satisfied with working in Lithuania. I have a feeling, and my experience is that people who come to workshops are really engaged, and for me as a person who run these seminars, it's very inspiring that my effort is needed and is invited and welcome. So it is something which brings my attention. Yeah, it is like calling an answer. Yeah, when there is this kind of exchange. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me it's interesting. But if there is no exchange, there is no energy. It's not very much interesting.
Yeah.
So it is the reason why I'm coming, yeah, because I have a feeling that working in Lithuania is meaningful.
Yeah.
It's meaningful and has a sense. Yeah.
That's very nice to hear. Lithuanian people are hungry for knowledge. And that's nice you're
Yeah,
appreciated
knowledge and
here.
experience, I think, not only knowledge, yeah, because what
Mhm.
I'm doing is usually has a theoretical part or knowledge part, but mostly I'm interested in experience and in supporting experience and getting personal knowledge by experience. I think it's the most valuable
Yeah, to
type
experience community.
of knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so my question would be, can you describe the work you do? Like, what is that, what you do exactly?
You know, this name probably doesn't say much. Yeah, I'm a process worker.
Okay.
It's a bit specific thing. Yeah, it's on a meeting point of different activities and knowledges, but it's approach in itself. Yeah,
Mhm.
Um, the creator of this approach is still living. It's Arnold Mindell. He is American now, more than 80. So he's less and less active outside, but nevertheless, he's a very creative person. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, and what's process work and what was this approach? Yeah. This approach is such that and it is common, yeah, in many approaches that we see life as a dynamic thing, yeah, as a process, yeah.
Mhm.
So, uh, but at the same time, in this dynamic, we think there is some logic, some structure, and if we can recognize this structure, we can use it to help the change to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. And uh, mm, it seems that from point of view of dynamic travel through life, yeah, the biggest problem is stuckness, when we
Mhm.
are stuck or repeat the same steps, the same way of solving problems, or repeating the same kind of relationships and meet the same difficulties. Yeah.
Mhm.
So in my work with people, I mostly assist them to flow through life, yeah, to find their own solutions for the known or repeated situations or movements in life, yeah,
Mhm.
to help them find the new areas, yeah, to find satisfaction, go deeper,
Mhm.
being having maybe not easier life, yeah, but uh, more interesting, yeah, more satisfying. Yeah, I read on internet one day in the past a relation of a woman who worked in with dying people, and and she reported what people are said just at the end of their life. And one of the most heavy thing for people is that they stayed too long in some points in their lives. Yeah,
Interesting.
they they say, oh, I should finish this or that relationship much faster and go on to life, and but I wasn't ready, or I wasn't enough brave to just go into unknown in my life, or I stayed in a job I hated for years because I was convinced that nothing better could happen in my life. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a real thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
for many people. Yeah, for
Yeah.
many of us. Yeah, and usually my experiences with myself and with other people that we need some support, more awareness, and more courage,
Yeah.
and support of somebody who is on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only on the side of exactly what I want or don't want in my life, but
Mhm.
on the side of a whole process, yeah, of somebody's life. Yeah, there are steps we are not ready to make, and with this support, we could do them. Yeah, and
Okay.
not losing our time. Our time has some limits.
Yeah. So the story you just told, it sounds like a bit about that people are they feel sorry for wasting time, probably, right? Not
Yeah,
making a move.
and there are things which um, I can't say they want to happen, but there is energy in them to happen. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but very often we live one-sidedly and we don't want to make a change. But there is something which calls are for a change. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like yeah, and if we refuse too long, we will be pressed to make these steps. So it's wiser to be an active agent of change than being dragged by it. Yeah. For example, when I worked on with people um, with cancer,
okay.
with terminal illness, uh, usually there were the same, especially with women, there
Mm-hmm.
was the same pattern appearing again and again when I worked with them. It was a pattern that uh, these women were really beautiful human beings. In terms of their souls, they were caring and taking care of others and uh, devoting yourself to family, or
Yeah.
several of them were nurses taking care of others, and they were in this attitude. There was one-sidedness. They were stuck, really stuck on this side of a helper,
Yeah.
somebody who takes care of others, helps others, and devotes themselves to doing that. Yeah, just forgetting about themselves,
Yeah.
putting aside their needs or dreams. And
Right.
finally, the cancer came,
Yeah.
and they were taken into the other side of the
So
coin.
as you said, if we're not making action, something
Yeah,
happens, like pushes us to
something
do
else
it,
makes
right?
actions on us. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not
yeah. If I
always
ignore that I'm tired and I'm working and working,
yeah,
finally I got ill.
yeah.
Yeah,
Body says stop.
and I had to make a break. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's and we can see this logic. Yeah, this pattern happening in many areas of life. So when we are one-sided, we're taken to the other. It's a very ancient idea, yeah.
yeah.
It's Taoist idea, yeah, that there is yin and yang,
Mm-hmm.
and when change happens that way, that yang is fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
to the it goes to the full form, and there is a flip flop, yeah. So we are on the side of yin. Yeah, so the change is not by fighting something
Mm-hmm.
or stopping something, but completing. Yeah, it's an old Chinese idea, and it is one of the um, blueprints we work with, which we work in process work. Yeah,
Okay.
completing things, and the change comes in natural way.
Okay. So Zbyszek, if I understood you correctly, you kind of help to recognize the pattern or a loop that the person is stuck, and you
Or
help them
yeah,
to
you can do that in many ways. Yeah,
yeah.
if I can use a metaphor of the river, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
experience is a kind of a river, yeah, flowing all the time, changing all the time. It's experience, yeah. And I see somebody in water who is trying to somehow survive.
Yeah.
Yeah? I can stand on the shore and say, "Oh, you should move your right hand stronger," or left hand stronger. So it is like a outside support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? But I can just jump into the water and flow in the river with the person to help it flows more smoothly. Yeah. So
Okay.
it depends. Yeah. I could
Mm-hmm.
play a role of outside wise person who gives some advice, yeah, to
Yeah.
somebody, or I could just go into the experience with the person
Yeah.
with with more awareness and hopefully some skill, which is lacking in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
to complete things and make and allow this flow which takes place uh, all the time, yeah, to 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 happen more completely smoothly, completely, yeah.
Yeah.
And in process work we have an idea, and it's an experience too, not only idea, that it's taken from Jung. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
Jung uh, first noticed that the childhood dreams has a special meaning. Yeah, they give
Okay.
access to the personal story of the person, individual story. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
unique. And it's not the only way to access it, but it is one of the easiest. And working on a childhood dream gives a clue on that about what is life of this person,
Okay.
individual person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that we have this life myth or these stories. Yeah, and they happen all the time. But usually we are so engaged in this plot, yeah, that we rarely are aware of a deeper structure of what happens in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So being more aware with this life myth of the person helps to have more satisfying, more complete life. Yeah? Because this life myth is not a kind of a um, something you need to go outside of it. No,
Mm-hmm.
this structure usually gives meaning to somebody's life. Yeah, and working on this structure is, yeah, you know it's not about jumping out of it. It's more
Mm-hmm.
about completing it. Yeah, in different phases of life, I could be in different roles from this
Okay.
dream. Yeah, it is like bigger story which
Okay.
calls us to be told in our life. Yes, so we are invited to find different aspects and uh, layers of the same structure. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Never thought about it like that, that we go to different stages of probably that one childhood dream at a different age as
Yeah.
well. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I
So maybe it's
remember.
not the final story, something
Yeah.
unclear, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm in the process.
Yeah. It could be even, the memory, the earliest memory, because it is very often these earliest memories are dreamlike. Yeah.
Okay.
It's, yeah. And it happens very strongly. Yeah. For example, one of my first memory was like my parents were arguing in the middle of the night, and I was sitting and looking at them.
Yeah.
And years later, when I was beginner therapist,
Mm-hmm.
one day the couple came to my room, and they started to argue, and I said like,
Yeah. That's so
and I
interesting.
recognized, wow, it came back.
Yeah.
I'm back in when I was 3, but in a totally different situation. The structure is exactly the same of the situation, but I was adult that time, and I had the support of my supervisor,
Hmm.
and I was able to solve the situation.
That
Not
is so
like in my job.
interesting. Is the second thing that I already wrote down. From what you're saying, it's so interesting. I will sit later and think about the first memory I have from my childhood.
Yeah, it is
Very
something
interesting.
which I plan to do on your festival.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so we will
to
get to that little
okay,
part where
okay,
you will tell us more. But
okay,
I'm really
okay.
interested to hear, Zbyszek, what is your personal story? How did you end up doing what you do today? Can you
It's a
share it
long
with us?
story, of course,
Yeah,
because
there's
it's
something interesting, I guess. Always.
yeah, I did many different things in life,
Mm.
but s- rather early because I was 26 or something. Yeah,
Okay.
I made something which changed my life from since that point until today, because from that time I stopped looking for things for, let's
Okay.
say, job, for example. At that time I was a Buddhist.
Mm.
I practiced Zen, and one day I read in a book, in a Buddhist book, very renowned author. Uh, mm, uh, Dear followers, stop worrying about food and dress. Everything is prepared for you. Just study Dharma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I asked myself, do I believe that? Yeah. It was time I was married. I had 2 little kids, and I was at the end of my academic career, because I was more interested in playing with my children than writing dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I asked myself, do I believe that? If I don't believe, so my practice is just fake.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to check that. Yeah. I left university and said, hey, where is this food for me and my family, and a dress for all, yeah, for a living. Yeah. And yeah, I had some savings. Yeah, but it went down, and I was almost zero.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey. And that time my friend came to me and said, hey, Zbyszek, my friend looks for somebody to join his team of workers. Are you interested? There is job for you. And I said, uh-huh, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
There is an invitation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what kind of work? Yeah, it's a manual work. It's working high over the ground. Yeah, as a fixer of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I've never climbed. No, they don't need anybody who will climb. They need somebody standing on the ground and just taking things up and
Mm-hmm.
down. Yeah. I said, okay. Yeah, there is an invitation. I shouldn't refuse. Yeah, if it is an invitation of some bigger order.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I started working there. And from that time on, I never ever looked for a job in my life. It is like with invitation for your festival. Yeah.
It comes, right?
Yes. One person came and said, "Oh, Zbyszek, my friend, does did and this and that, and I feel it's just for you."
Mhm.
You know, one day, for example, one of my friends came and said, "Zbyszek, you have to teach my brother English."
Hmm.
And I said, "Leave me alone. I'm not an English teacher. I don't even know English very well." No. But then my money went down. I didn't have at the moment any work, any job. So I said, okay. And I became a English teacher for several years, and then something else and something else. And
Yeah.
finally, one day, somebody came to me and said, Zbyszek, have you heard about process work? It's something you should do. It's something for you. And I said, no, no, I'm not interested. Yeah. That time I was sure that I'm Zen practitioner and I will meditate until I became Zen master or I will die.
Mhm.
And then I had car accident.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this accident taught me that something is lacking with this Zen practice. In my case, not in general,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
in
yeah.
my case, yeah. And I thought, what to do with that? And again, somebody came to me and said, Zbyszek, there is a process work.
Wow.
You should
Second
do that.
time,
Yeah,
right?
third time. It was
Okay.
the third time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I said, okay, third time, let's try. And then I went to a course just for myself, not
Mhm.
to change my profession or anything like that. And in the third workshop seminar, weekend seminar, there was a seminar about life myth,
Mhm.
childhood dream and life myth, and I was shocked. It was like bang in in my life. I was sitting and I was shocked with what happened to me, what I
Mhm.
realized
Mm.
in during this workshop. And I didn't work much during this seminar, yeah, because I was so shocked with what opened for me that I
Mhm.
wasn't able to do anything during this seminar. But I was sure it is something for me, and I
Right.
want to do it, and I
Mhm.
want to know how to do that. Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and then that was time when teachers were coming to Poland. Yeah, it was just the beginning of process work, and I knew English because when I was English teacher, I learned myself English by teaching others.
Mhm.
Yeah, some English. Yeah, and I became a translator during workshops. And the guy came. He was very respected. Yeah, everybody was waiting for him, saying, "Oh, Max is coming! Wow, wow!" And I wondered, Max, so what? Okay, he's coming.
Mhm.
I'm going to check him. Yeah, and I was translator on his seminar. Yeah, I came to the seminar. He he was there. Yeah, and I said, "Hello, Max. Nice to meet you. I'm Zbyszek. I'm going to be your translator during this workshop." Fine. Okay. He looked at me and said, "Why you want to be my translator?" And it was first interesting question. from him to me. And I told him a story. I told him, I read a book some time ago, and it was a book about guy who learned in some shaman. And this shaman didn't teach him anything. Yeah? He was
Mhm.
just present in ceremonies, and when this shaman healed people, finally this shaman died, and the guy had a feeling that he learned nothing. He went back to his life, yeah, as a white person, but he started to be a private advisor, then coach. And years later in New York, when he was working with some person, he realized that he's sitting like this shaman, that he's moving like him, and he realized that he learned something.
Mhm.
And I moved to Max and I said, and it is the reason why I want to translate.
That's very
And then
interesting.
yeah, and somebody asked me something, and after a moment I turned to him and he was just sitting, then looked at me and said, okay. And he accepted me at that moment. It was amazing, yeah. It as a student, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It
That's
happened like that,
amazing.
yeah. And he's the guy like that, yeah. He's still living and he's very active. Max Schubach. We didn't spend long time together
Mhm.
because he has so many things he's doing that he
Yeah.
has not much time for. But this meeting was very meaningful for me. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Sounds like when you are open, like possibilities come to you. You just need to kind of recognize and accept or not, but openness.
Maybe
Mhm.
I can say just about my experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
I'm
go.
rather hesitant to say people don't look for a good job, it will come to you. No, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Take
Just
care
a
of
personal
yourself.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take care of yourself.
nice. Thank you for sharing it. It's interesting to know. Okay, so maybe now you can tell us about the program, what you have prepared for the Masters of Calm Festival, because you'll be attending for 3 days, right?
Yeah, I will be there.
Three
Yeah,
days
I
of
will
lecture.
participate. Yeah.
Okay,
And there is a short description what I plan. In
yeah,
general, I thought to focus on life path, yeah, life myth, life path,
yeah.
something general which could be helpful and inspiring for participants.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I will propose to work with idea taken from Carlos Castaneda books. Uh, I don't know if you know these books. There is a huge controversy about these
Yeah.
books. Are they real or are they just fantasy?
Okay.
For me, doesn't matter much if they are about real something which happened or it is just a story invented by Castaneda. Books are about his relationship with a native teacher, Don
Mm-hmm.
Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Ah,
uh,
okay.
yeah,
Did
and
you recognize the author at the beginning?
yeah. So you know the books.
Yeah.
And there are very, some of them are really inspiring ideas. And one of them is Don Juan's idea of hard path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I plan to support people in finding the hard path in life. Mm, mm,
Okay.
yeah. So it's about that. We will do it in different ways. Yeah, probably during first every piece is a whole in itself. I plan to be it, so you can join the second one or the third one. It's
Okay,
fine.
that's good to know, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think it's the most useful thing is to participate in all of them
Yeah.
because it is a more complete
Yeah.
thing. And during the first one, I I will touch and work together with participants about childhood dream
Mhm.
to get to know more about it. Yeah, and I saw that on the festival it is you put that there must be lectures. So I'm not going to fulfill that. Yeah. Okay, I like talking, like you can probably recognize already know. But nevertheless, I'm much more interested to support participants in having their own experience
Mhm.
because my experience is that the most valuable insights come from experience, not
Right.
from other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Not
So,
from being
okay,
around people, yeah.
there will be a short introduction from my side. Yeah. And then we will go to practical things. Yeah. And we will
Yeah.
go into with my assistance, of course,
Yes.
to experience and I will try to give occasion to participants to have their own insights and uh, get some meaning for themselves.
Okay.
During the second day, probably I will share uh, idea and practice which is taken from native traditions. In many native traditions, it appears. It's understanding life as a road to go. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's that life is a journey, and we
Okay.
walk this life, and we walk several paths, different paths, and the the hard path is somehow hidden below all those paths. Yeah, and
Okay.
usually we are not aware where is this hard path. Yeah,
Yeah.
it took me, for example, personally, it took me long time. I found process work and my hard path when I was over 40.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I didn't have much support
Yeah.
about that before. Yeah, I tried this, that, and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure we can do that much earlier in life, and it's great to do it earlier.
Yeah.
So it's a technique taken from Aboriginal tradition, Australian tradition, because they have a tradition which is called walkabout.
Mhm.
That one day somebody feels that he or she should go,
Mhm.
and it is a problem with Aborigines working in a Western organized companies
Yeah.
because they are very nice person, but there is a moment when they disappear,
Mhm.
and the boss is asking, "Where is he? Where is Joe? Where is Joe?" No one knows where is Joe, so he's calling family and where is Joe because he's not at work. Don't you know? Just walk about.
Mhm.
What? He just went away. he felt that he needs to go, and he went. Yeah.
That's amazing. So against all rules, right?
Yes, he felt that
Yeah.
something calls him, and
Yeah.
the line of song is opening for him, so he went
Mhm.
on. Yeah. So and this concept is from Native American tradition, when they say that there is a medicine wheel, yeah,
Mhm.
and there is the concept I know because there are several different ones depending on a tribe, yeah. But the one I was introduced to is that, you know, the when you have a wheel, there are directions, yeah, and it's north and south, east and west, and that we people go from south, which is in this concept is direction of a child,
Mhm.
to north, which is direction of ancestor. So the
Mhm.
human life is a road from child to to becoming ancestor. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, and there is, and it is called the way of beauty. Yeah,
Mhm.
and what I would, and it's connected with physics by Arnie Mindell because he's physic,
Mhm.
uh, and with vectors, yeah, that there are energies, and the field of Mother Earth is supporting us, and we move in our life not because of nothing, but because there is some calling, there are energy which
Yeah.
pulls us here and there. Yeah? And very often we want to go left and right at the same time, and we
Okay.
don't know what to do. Yeah,
Yeah, feeling lost.
yeah, and it's what we would do during the second day. We will look for this mythical path,
Mhm.
which is under or appears in some degree in every path we take in life. But to to find this mythical path and being more aware of our calling in life, of our life myth, to find the meaning, a deep meaning of our lives. Yeah. And in the evening, it will be in the morning. In the evening, we will do with anybody who would love to take part a kind of a short vision quest.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the interesting part. I really wanted to ask you about this part.
yeah, yeah. But it will be a vision quest, not exactly like, you know, fasting for 4 days without food and drink, like in Native American
Mhm.
First Nation traditions, but modified thing which will take few hours, and to follow nature and cooperate with energies and traditionally we could say spirits of the place where we would be during festival,
Mhm.
because you know the the mother earth is everywhere, so
Yeah.
you don't need to go far away to find inspiration, but
Mhm.
you need to have a specific attitude to that.
Okay.
So I will introduce people to create this kind of attitude and then to go.
Okay.
And yeah, and they could be partly devoted to finding maybe some results of this vision quest for some people who would take part in vision quest and will participate on Sunday,
Mhm.
the last day in my proposal. But I would too share some technique taken from again Aboriginal Australian tradition
Mhm.
about uh, earth spot energy.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they believe, and I think they are very right, that if I identify only with me as a human being,
Mhm.
I'm just a little bit of myself.
Mhm.
That I belong to some place in earth, to some energies, and to some story, long story, yeah, line of ancestors, and being in touch with earth spot, which is part of me, or better, I am part of it.
Mhm.
uh, and the line of my ancestors allows me to be fully myself, not only be Zbyszek Miłuński, let's say, but
Mhm.
be able to say, like Native Americans say, all my relations, yeah, when they speak, yeah, that all this stuff is speaking through me.
That is very interesting. I want to participate. I don't know how I can do that during the festival.
You're welcome,
I
of
really want
course.
to participate.
Of
Somehow it
course, you are
resonates.
welcome.
That's really great.
So that's it.
Okay, so thank you, Zbyszek. It's very interesting. I'm very excited and interested. Really want to participate myself. For anyone who wants to maybe learn more or just to have a quick look what lectures Zbyszek will give during the festival, you can visit our website and check the program. Thank you for
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah,
One more thing, if I can. Yeah,
of course.
I would like to invite people for my proposals who are
Yeah,
really interested in discovering something.
yeah.
Yeah, there is a old Zen saying, which I respect very much. This tradition, and it say, uh, big doubt or big questioning, big enlightenment.
Hmm.
Middle questioning, middle enlightenment. No questioning, no enlightenment.
Very nice.
So
Thank you, Zbyszek.
you're welcome.
Very nice last idea to think about. Nice quote.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was amazing to have this talk, and I learned something. And yeah, you got me interested.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you very
Thank you
much.
very much
Thank you.
for invitation and conversation with
Thank
me.
you for accepting it.
Yeah. You're
Okay,
welcome.
so see you soon. Almost like 2 months left. Time
Yeah,
flies.
and we'll meet.
Yeah. See you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, you too.
Bye
Goodbye,
bye.
everybody.
Goodbye.